Alrighty, guys, welcome back to Inside the 20. Today, I'm very honored to welcome my first ever guest onto my show, producer and videographer of Bussin With The Boys, part of Barstool Sports, J.P. Hovey. All right, man. So I'm 12 and in the 7th grade. But I just want to know, what was JP like at my age, and did you play any sports, or what were you into?
Yes, sir. I was probably a lot like you. I played in middle school, especially. I was playing all the sports. I played soccer. 7th grade, I wasn't playing football yet, but I played soccer, basketball, and then in the summers, I did swim team. But always outside, always playing the different sports. Soccer was probably my number one at that time, with basketball at a close second. And then in 8th grade, I joined C-team football. That's when I got into football, but always outside, always laughing it up with my friends. Was not an indoor cat at all. I didn't have an iPhone until I was like a junior or senior in high school, so I had to be out there.
Yeah. I mean, I play a ton of sports. I play for the I don't know if you can see the helmet back there, the white one. I have my football team I play for since I was 10.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
What position are you?
I am a cornerback. I started cornerback from week 4 to through the entire season.
Nice.
I was second string running back. But right now all our wide receivers are going to high school, so I'm just trying to get there. I have off-season training I do, so.
Let's go, bro.
Yeah, it's trying to get
awesome.
better.
The next Cooper DeJean.
That's
I
wild.
love it.
And then I know you mentioned football in 8th grade. Did you continue to play in these sports in high school?
Yeah, so I played all 3 sports my freshman year, and then I stopped playing basketball my sophomore year. Just started to play rec league basketball instead, because soccer, like I said, it was kind of my main thing. So I was starting to notice a drop in my level. And when I was doing basketball, switching over to soccer, it was taking me a little bit too long to get back to where I needed to be starting and whatnot. So, but I paid attention to it all. Any sport you can name it, I was tapped into. Could be tennis, could be UFC, could be anything you name, I was into it.
Yeah. I mean, I played soccer till the 5th grade, I believe, end of 5th grade, and then I moved into more baseball. I did travel baseball for a couple years, and then I mean, ever since I say 10, 11, ever since 5th grade, I've just been invested in football.
So football's the goal.
Yeah, football. It's literally just I go to the NFL, or I'm homeless basically. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Who would be your dream college?
Oh, if I had to pick right now, and it's scholarship from any school, let's go Buckeyes.
Hey, you saw who my Gamecocks just took from y'all. We took that quarterback.
That's
what we do, man. That would be. Hey, they got a huge win. Ohio State got a huge win.
Yeah. Now we got to go on the road to play Oregon. So
rematch though. I was at the first game, so I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, it is. It's not really home advantage for either of those teams because it's the Rose Bowl, so it's in LA.
Right.
Yeah. I guess Oregon, because they're the higher seed, would be considered the home team.
Yeah, it would be easier for their fans to get there, but
that's
I know
true.
after this week, Ohio State fans, they got to be showing out.
100%. And then I know you went to South Carolina, but tell me a little about, what was that like, and also what did you major in, study?
Yeah, I grew up a South Carolina fan, so the hometown that I'm from is Greenville, and that is 35 minutes from Clemson. So all my friends grew up pretty much Clemson fans. I went to way more Clemson games than I did South Carolina games growing up, which was part of the reason why I started to like South Carolina. Clemson's a little bit too, it's not as gritty as I would like it to be. And South Carolina had the grit.
Yeah.
So I only applied to South Carolina. Wasn't going to go anywhere else. And then in school, I'm not good at math. I'm not good at science. I'm not interested in any of those things. Both of my older brothers, they are good at both of those things. So I got the short end of the stick when it came to that type of intellect. So I was like, I knew I wanted to do something with sports. Let me get into broadcast journalism. Everybody kind of wants to be a commentator when they grow up. Like the dream is to be on Sports Center and whatnot. And the program at school kind of geared you more towards like local TV. Nobody watches local television, local news. Like they got me going out there and reporting about a gas station that sales are down 10%. And I'm like, what do I care about this Exxon for? Like, I hope the owner's doing all right, but this isn't me. So it wasn't until later, like probably in my senior year, I got my brother gave me a camera, and then I started kind of making some highlight videos for people around Columbia, teach myself how to edit and stuff like that. But overall, going to South Carolina was awesome. A lot of awesome friends. School, I could have learned more. The program wasn't quite where it needed to be, but it was fun, man. I wouldn't have wanted to go anywhere else except for maybe San Diego State or something to live out there. But no, it was fun. And I also worked in the athletic department as a media relations like student assistant. So basically, what that is, every athletic department has a sports information director. So anytime you go to a website, look up the roster, you could see the record books. Like the sports information director is in charge of all that. And he handles all the coaches' media. So like if Ryan Day is going to go to Big Ten Media Days, he's going to bring the 3-star players and the sports information director. And so I was the assistant to that guy. And that's kind of where I got to do my first sports stories. I would get to write the feature stories about players that would be like in the game programs. Like when you go to a game, they're selling or handing out the $5-10 programs. Like I was able to write the feature stories in there, which was awesome. That's how I really got into. I enjoy writing a lot. I'm not good at grammar or anything, but I'm good at stacking and making a story. So that was like probably the most valuable experience that I had there, and that's when I got to interact with the athletes some more too.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome. I mean that's really cool. And I started this podcast because I was really into like commentating and doing all this, and like sharing my knowledge because it's just football up here. Like,
now I'm telling you, man, I watched the clips, I watched the show. You crush it. We gotta get you. We gotta blow you up.
And then I saw you were named a finalist for the best sports stories in the Carolinas. For a story you did about former Gamecock football players coming back and coaching football. Yeah, funny enough, in my neighborhood we have four former NFL players.
Really?
Nick Barnett, Eric Weddle, Legedu Naanee, and Nick Novak.
Dang.
So
have you got to meet them?
Yeah, I mean, I've done many camps with them at the high school, multiple high schools down the street. But we've just, I mean, I know everybody in the neighborhood knows all of them, and we all have great connections. So it's really cool.
You got to get them on the show.
I know we were actually thinking about that, like being like the next possible guest.
Bro, that would be awesome. We actually just had in my full-time job, we had Alshon Jeffrey on, and he lives out in San Diego now. He just moved up a little bit more north, but there's a lot of guys that live out there.
Yeah, dude. I think Carson Palmer, used to live here. If not,
I think you're right.
If he doesn't already, yeah, I think he lives in Del Mar, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's just littered with a bunch of NFL players. Just
good training for you too.
Professional athletes. I know. Yeah. The guy I actually trained with, he played in the NFL, I believe.
Wow.
Not for a long time, but he played in, I forget when, but
man, if you make it, you're good. It doesn't matter how long you're there. It's the toughest league to get into.
I think it's also like the lowest time frame for somebody to be in there like before they retire. I think it's like 3 years or something.
Yeah, exactly. 3.5 years. And they don't unless you play like 3 or 4 years, I think it is, you don't even get the benefits, like the long-term benefits of being an NFL player. It's like, golly.
Like you just get the minimum pay and then you just get cut. And it's just like, well, where do I go from here?
Right.
And you're crazy. Like on your hands and knees just begging any team to sign you.
That's what it is, man. Exactly. That's why all the relationships are important, that if you can get in the door, it doesn't matter if it's in the football locker room, at school, you got to treat people with respect, and it's going to help you a long way, because if you're not a locker room guy, those coaches are never going to take a chance on you.
Exactly, yeah. What do you think it is that lures these, former accomplished professional athletes to just come back and just coach high school football?
Yeah, I think a lot of it, say for the South Carolina guys, none of those dudes in that story I did, it was Marcus Lattimore, Jay Spearman, Elliott Fry, and Corey Boyd. Lattimore and Corey Boyd were great running backs. Lattimore, he had the crazy knee injuries, could have been a great NFL player. Corey Boyd played like 3 years in the NFL, but none of them are from Columbia. So to me, it says a lot about kind of the fan base of the college, that they feel comfortable, like, hey, this is home now. They're welcomed in by 80,000 people, and they're treated like kings, especially at a place like South Carolina, where we don't have all of the names that Ohio State maybe would.
Yeah, that's true.
It also shows just that these guys love football, and so many of them have bigger hearts. And with the work ethics they've developed, over the course of being a football player, it's like there's a lot of different avenues they could put it in, but I think a lot of them just love the youth and want to see kids make it past where they were. Because Corey Boyd, for example, he was drafted in the 6th round, and Aqib Talib was on the team, and he got into a little fight during training camp with Aqib Talib. Obviously, Aqib Talib was like an awesome NFL player, all-pro type of guy. And the fight goes down, the coaches are not going to take Corey Boyd's side regardless of if he was in the right or not.
Exactly.
And so, ultimately, he gets booted out of Tampa, and then he has to go to Denver. And it's like, if he would have just known going into it, probably by some older guy telling him, hey, keep your head on straight, do not react to these dudes, they're going to try to get under your skin. So I think they just love passing on the knowledge that they had and that they learned, and they want to see people succeed more than they did.
Exactly. Like, they just want to, they want to give back to their community. They want to see other people, fill their footsteps and,
right.
Yeah,
it's the definition of the city gave them so much, and then it's their turn to give it back. I saw Denzel Washington, he had a quote. He said, the first part of your life you learn, the second part of your life you earn, and the third part of your life you return. So they're in that return phase, and I love that quote. I think it rings true for probably a lot of the coaches.
Yeah, definitely. Good. Like many kids my age, my goal is to continue to play sports after high school, and just see where it leads me. But I'm also very interested in like sports, and obviously this podcast. I would love to hear just how you landed your role with Barstool, and of course Bussin.
Yeah, man. So I started in Dallas, did an internship with Northern Texas PGA, which golf. That's one sport I don't really keep up with. It's too slow for me. I'll pay attention to the Masters or whatever, but I don't keep up with golf, so it wasn't really a fit for me. Then I went over to IMG Academy, and that's when I really started to pick up my videography, like making the highlight tapes and stuff.
Yeah.
And I got really into tennis while I was there, and I got to work with this guy, Denis Shapovalov, who's at the time he was a top 20, top 15 tennis player. I had no idea who he was, but my role at IMG, I was like a house parent. So I was in charge of like 70 middle school kids and just making sure like they're going to class, doing their things, because it's a boarding school. So it's all overnight. And I go and do the stuff for Dennis. I come back and all the kids are freaking out. They're like, dude, you talked to Denis Shapovalov, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, who is this guy? I Google him. I realize he's like one of the top dogs. And he was asking me like, hey, is there any way you could send me that content? I never have stuff to post. And so I'm like, dang, if this dude is a top 15 tennis player in the world and he doesn't have content, what does that mean for everyone else in tennis? And so I start trying to work with some more pros, start trying to, do more YouTube tutorials, teach myself how to edit, make some more cool effects, something to make my videos pop to where the athletes want to work with me. I just don't want to work with them. And ultimately, I left IMG to start my own videography business. And this is kind of where the whole like Bussin With The Boys web sort of starts, one of the first dudes I started working with was Matt Jones, and he was a running back for Florida. Then he played with the Redskins, and he played for the Eagles. They were the Redskins at the time, Washington Commanders now. And so I started doing some videos for him. Then I move over to the other side of Florida near like Fort Lauderdale. And like I said earlier, I'm a big UFC fan. So tennis and UFC are super popular down in South Florida. So is football, but everyone else is making videos for football players.
Exactly,
like it was kind of saturated. And so I started going to some tennis academies. Then I started going to some MMA gyms. And I have finally got into an MMA gym, but after being turned down by like anywhere I try to go, they'd be like, "Hey, we're not interested." I'm like, "How are you not interested in free content right now?"
Like, this is free advertisement. Like,
free
you don't want this?
And it's crazy. But luckily I got into a spot, Sanford MMA, which is now like Killcliff, and they have a lot of the top fighters. Michael Chandler fights there, and he just fought a few months ago in New York, and we were able to go to that fight. He's from Nashville, and I've been a fan of Mike for a long time, so I'm super nervous when he's in there. But I'm getting to know the other fighters, doing some videos for them, and then I start working with USA Boxing on the side, and that was like my first contracted gig where like every month I know I'll be getting paid $1,500 a month, whatever it is. And also in that time, Will Compton, he put up an Instagram story, "Hey, we're looking for a full-time videographer. If you think they could be one of the boys, tell them to swipe up and apply." At the time, I'm not really listening to podcasts. I'm super busy running around trying to, make enough money to pay my rent, all the different stuff. And I was like, my friend sent it to me. I'm like, "Dude, I'll apply, but I promise you probably some other resumes look a little better than mine, because I'm all over the place right now, just trying to grind it out." Ultimately, end up getting it. But one of the things that helped me was Michael Chandler is friends with Will and Taylor.
Wow.
And Matt Jones played with Will at the Washington Redskins. And so
crazy how life is.
So in my interviews, I'm able to reference, "Oh yeah, like Will, I was working with Matt Jones, like who you play with in Washington." He's like, "No way, like how'd you get in with him?" And I explained the story. And I told Mike Chandler before I went on the interview, I'm like, "Hey, I'm interviewing with your boys. Like any tips? Like what's gonna give me my best shot?" So then I'm able to tell Will in the interview and all them, like, "Oh yeah, like I was just with Michael Chandler," and they're like, "Wait a second, like how are you connected with all these people? Like who's your dad? Who do you know?" I'm like, I'm just knocking on doors. And so ultimately I got it, and the job was actually between me and, since you're a Joe Burrow guy, this dude, the other guy that made it to the final round of the interview, he was making all the videos for LSU when Joe Burrow won the Heisman.
That's really cool.
And so his and then when they won the national championship, and his videos were incredible, and for sure a better creative editor than I was. I would have wanted him too, but he took a job with the UFC, so I got the Bussin job.
That's cool.
And yeah, so that's where we are now.
Wow, that's really cool, because just all those connections and leads to this, and now we're here. So
it's crazy, man. It is insane.
And then I know you were just talking about Taylor and Will, but what's it like to work with those guys? Like just on a daily basis.
Yeah, it's fun, man. When I was first going in, you're nervous because it's a linebacker and a left tackle, like two of the nastiest positions out there with the toughest, grittiest, strongest guys. And luckily I had been around, UFC fighters, so I'm feeling a little bit more confident. But immediately, like, both dudes are extremely warm, like big embraces. Kind of what you see about them online is exactly how they are off the camera.
I was about to say, I feel like O linemen are like that.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah.
And Taylor, he was like one of the first O linemen with the big personality, because usually they tell them to be quiet.
Yeah.
But Taylor, not at all. He goes up, Josh Norman does his bow and arrow thing at him, getting in the fights, like all the stuff. But they're awesome, and the more they continue to grow, the more they allow us to grow, which is cool because
Yeah.
a lot of the guys in their position, they could just be focused on themselves and trying to make their brand as big as possible. But they've both been super supportive in like my outside of work endeavors, which speaks volumes about them because, like I said, they don't have to do that at all.
Exactly. Yeah. You love to have
Yeah,
people
so
like
they're
that
all
who just, they're just like, they care about you and you care about them. And it's great to have
exactly.
people like that in your life.
Yeah, makes the work
Yeah.
better all around.
And then I just had another question. What goes into producing an episode of Bussin', and like how long does it take normally?
Yeah, so it can vary on the guests. So say last week we had John Gruden on. John Gruden, he coached Will at the Raiders.
That's
so
cool.
already right there, they have a million different things to talk about. So we don't have to do as much on the back end as far as researching things. But when I first started with Bussin', I was doing, or I guess probably 6 months into Bussin', I was doing everything. I was doing producing the podcast, doing our vlogs, producing our gambling show. Now I'm just doing the vlogs. So
Okay.
they're like, our team has gotten bigger and their process is a little different. But basically how it would look is, say Alshon Jeffrey, when he came on, I know a lot about Alshon because I'm a big South Carolina fan and he went to South Carolina. So I would write down, 10 to 20 notes about Alshon that they could ask him about, like good open-ended thoughts or questions. So that would be like in the pre-production meeting we will have before an interview. So we'll all go into the room. Our guy Sherm, he handles it all. He goes through the rundown like, hey, these are some potential topics. This is where we can take this conversation and, like, ready, break, let's go.
Yeah.
Then after that happens, when we go record the episode, so you got a guy running audio, then you got a dude running the cameras, like switching it, kind of how they do on TV. And now I kind of sit in front of them. I used to be on that back table. Now I'm like chiming into the conversation a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then I'll take photos for post stuff, like whatever we need to put on the YouTube thumbnail.
Yeah.
But after the episode, whoever was producing it will like make notes of what clips will be good. So like what was an interesting story, what's going to get interaction online, because everybody is, there's a fine line between just trying to go viral all the time and putting out like good content.
Exactly. To like
And there's
grow
ways,
your audience.
Right. There's ways to do it. There's ways to do both in like a healthy way. And that's kind of where the secret sauce lives. And that's where kind of the successful podcasts separate themselves from the mediocre ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, then the clips get made from the timestamps, and then the social media guy, he distributes them all out throughout the week. So it's kind of we have like 8 or 9 guys that work with us now. When I started, it was just 3 of us. So we're growing. That's hopefully that kind of gives a look at what it looks like for an episode.
I don't know. For me, it's just me and my dad, to be honest.
Dude, y'all are grinding. I do a solo show too, so I film it, edit it, make the clips, and it's a lot.
Oh yeah. Make it to midnight, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I know you guys have had some good athletes come on in the past, but some big names, obviously none bigger than our 47th president, Trump. But what was that like? I mean, did you get to meet him or talk to him?
Yeah, we got to meet him. It went about exactly how you would expect it to go with him. He opens up the door. We did it in Chicago at one of his hotels, and they were all like, they were super nice, the staff and everything. They're like, hey, anything you guys want to eat or drink, just charge it to room number or whatever. We'll bring it to you. But it was crazy because, it was ever since they tried to, there was the assassination attempt. They've obviously upped all the security. So every single person that was driving up to the hotel, they had to get their car swept by policemen.
Wow.
There was dogs sniffing everywhere. And then when you go into the hotel, you got to go through metal detector. You get pat down. We had to drop our equipment off in the room like 6-7 hours before the interview so that Secret Service could come and like sweep and check all the little different, ports in the camera to make sure we didn't put anything in it. It's crazy. It's a crazy operation.
That is wild.
So we're waiting around for a while because he's, doing a million other things. And then he finally rolls in at like 8 p.m. and he just hits the classic, like, you know how he always does his hands?
Yeah.
He walks in, he goes, what a handsome room. This is the most handsome room I've been in. We're like, yeah, we're handsome. So he gave us like the ultimate, I feel like, Donald Trump experience where
Yeah.
whether you like love him or hate him, like he is like he's entertaining and he's funny.
Exactly. It's just so
And
authentic.
yeah, exactly. And he's like way more self-aware than I thought too, but it was cool. I mean, he was super nice. Like he gave off kind of grandpa vibes where like, you know, afterwards he did promise us, he was like, and we try not to dip too much into the political world because
Oh yeah.
people get crazy with their
Exactly. Controversy
opinions.
and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when it's like,
X
hey
is
man, like,
blowing up. You say one thing, it's just like you're getting canceled.
right. And the, you
It's
know,
like
we're not
say goodbye to
trying
your
to,
family.
exactly.
Like,
We're not trying to piss anybody off, but like
exactly.
we're also not going to pass up the opportunity to interview a former and now current president. But yeah, he was funny, and he told us after, he was like, if I win this election, next podcast we all do together, we'll do it in the Oval Office. So I'm like,
That is actually
Trump,
wild.
let's make it happen, man. You promised. So we'll see. But yeah, no, it was cool. A cool experience. Like, you know, as I was telling you the story before of knocking on all the doors, it's like,
Yeah.
that was just 4 years ago. And now fast forward, I got to meet a former president, which was cool.
That's wild. I mean, I don't have any like I don't have any past memories of meeting presidents, so
Yeah.
I'm
You're
maybe
new
one
that
day though.
yeah, let's see, you say you're 12.
I'm 12, yeah.
So I guess the only president you would really like even kind of remember would be Trump and Biden.
Yeah. I don't remember Obama.
Yeah.
I hear great things about him, but I was
Cool guy. Yeah, but I never met him, but seems like a cool guy.
Staying on the topic of guests, out of everybody you've had on the show, who has been your favorite?
Man, it's so tough. I like it kind of jumps probably like 3 to 5 names jump out at me. Jelly Roll. Are you familiar with Jelly Roll?
Yeah, I know Jelly Roll, yeah.
So Jelly Roll, he's awesome. His story is peak. So like, I don't know, he has so much wisdom, and so whenever you listen to him, it's like it's awesome. And we got to when we went to the UFC fights the other week in New York. This kind of shows you how nice of a guy Jelly Roll is. But he asked Taylor. He was like, "Hey, how you guys getting back to Nashville?" Because he lives here also. And Taylor was like, "We got the 6 a.m. Southwest flight tomorrow morning." He was like, "Oh man, Bubba," like he calls everybody Bubba. He's like, "Bubba, just come get on the plane with me after the fight." Taylor's like, "I mean, do you have room for like JP and my wife?" He's like, "Yeah, we got plenty of room." So we go run, get our luggage, and then we get a police escort from Madison Square Garden to the airport and fly on Jelly Roll's private plane back to Nashville.
That's wild. Where was this then?
This was from New York to Nashville, and this was like 3 or maybe I guess it's like a month ago now.
Wow.
But it was like the coolest thing in the world. And you know, Jelly Roll he's one of the biggest celebrities right now.
Yeah.
He's super like thoughtful and intentional, like very nice to me, asking me questions. We're going back and forth. I'm like, man, this is like Jelly Roll is the best. Then some other guys like Maxx Crosby. Love Maxx Crosby. He's like obviously one of the most tenacious guys in the NFL.
Yeah.
Nonstop motor, but like really good heart, really nice dude. We interviewed him at his house one time. He ordered pizza and wings for the boys. He was just like, you know, y'all come hang out. We see him whenever we got to Vegas. You can always kind of tell with the people if they pay attention to like the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And whenever he sees me, it's always, you know, big dap up. We'll talk about the NBA, whatever it is, and his story. You know, he's sober and all of that. Like his story is really powerful.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm trying to think if there's so many other guys that I enjoy, and we've had a lot of people on. Comedians, we love Shane Gillis. We saw him this past week. We went to Notre Dame, Indiana game, and
I saw that.
We saw him after Nick Saban kind of chewed him out a little bit.
Wow.
On College Game Day, and Shane was like, "Man, I was just joking around. I feel bad now." But Shane's
Nick took it
awesome.
personal.
Nick took it personal, man. We're like,
What'd you
Nick.
say?
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, man.
Excuse you? It's like, dude, hey.
He's a comedian.
Exactly. It's like
Let him
they
make
don't
some
mean
jokes.
half the stuff they say.
Exactly.
It's
So
like, calm down, bro.
yeah, and I like Nick Saban, so I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
it's not a good look. We got to get it back. You and Shane,
exactly.
y'all need to go out to dinner. Let him make a few more jokes on you, and then it's all good.
Exactly. And then I see on your Instagram, you're all over the place. Obviously, you said you were at the college game, Indiana, Notre Dame.
Mhm.
But yeah, I've seen you at NFL games, college games, of course, and also like MMA fights.
Yeah.
And of course the Masters. I heard that
Yeah.
you said, you're like not a big fan of golf, but you'll watch the Masters and stuff. But what has been your favorite or best event that you have attended?
Yeah, best event. I'll have to give you two because I'm a big Gamecock fan. You see it all in the back.
Oh yeah.
So it had to be because we went with Bussin With The Boys. We went to South Carolina versus Tennessee in 2022. And that's when Tennessee was ranked like number 6 or something. They were probably going to make it into the playoff. And then Spencer Rattler and Juice Wells just lit it up on him. And we won like 61 to 38 or something. Like we ran out of fireworks.
61-38 is actually wild.
Yeah. South Carolina has never had a game like that before in our life.
Imagine being the 6th team in the country, then just getting rolled by like that big.
And we were like South Carolina. That was the first game on our little win streak. So at the time, like we were not a good team. We just got beat by Florida, and Florida was horrible that year.
Damn.
So then we just turned it on, and Spencer Rattler went crazy, but we got to rush the field, which was cool.
Awesome.
And it was my first time not like working for South Carolina on the field pregame.
Yeah.
And my dad got to come out there with us too, which is like a really cool moment to share with my dad. And as like kickoff is happening, we're walking around in front of the student section. So, of course, like the kids have no idea who I am, but everyone's hype, probably like a little drunk. And so I'm just going by and I'm dapping everyone up. Like, let's go. So that was,
we have no idea who you are, but let's go.
Exactly. And so that was a cool, like the little kid in me. That was like incredible. And then it's got to be UFC fights. Pick them. Probably this last one with this Michael Chandler one, because I've gotten to know some of the UFC employees, and I was interviewing with them while I was interviewing with Bussin. So like I've known him for a little while now, and my guy Nolan, he showed love. He's a photographer, does a lot of their social media, and on the big UFC pay-per-view fights, they always do like the stars are out post. And so it'll be like at this fight, Donald Trump was there, Elon Musk, all these people. And it's like Miles Teller, Trump, Elon, like it's all in a swipe graphic, like some of the New York Yankees. And then the very last photo on the Instagram post is a picture of me and Taylor. And clearly like Taylor is the star, but my boy, he didn't blur me out like they usually would. And so I was sending it to all my friends. I'm like, I know y'all see me in the same post as Miles Teller. So that like UFC sitting there cage side is peak because big UFC fan.
Yeah.
And then now watching a friend and Michael Chandler, like as he was walking or doing his walkout, I yelled, I'm like, let's go, Mike. And he turns his head and points. I'm like, oh my God.
What just happened? Oh my God.
What just happened? Like this is truly the greatest day of my life. So I'll say those two games or in fights.
Yeah, going back to the college football game, Tennessee and South Carolina, you said that you stormed the field, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna be honest. I would be scared to storm the field because I don't want to get like caught and just like trampled by thousands of people. Like,
yeah, it's like, not safe for kids. It's not
exactly.
Not
it's like
safe.
You got to keep up with the crowd, but like,
yeah,
I don't think I could do it. Like
once you get into your high school football weight program, I know you'll get jacked.
Yeah,
you'll be ready to rock because it like I mean Ohio State is always so good. There's no real reason for them to storm the field.
Exactly.
But if you ever can be a part of a storm, whatever a field storm, you got to do it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I prefer to watch it on TV, you know, when they just rip the goalpost and just chuck it in whatever river they can find.
Yeah.
That's always the
Vanderbilt is very
funniest
good
part.
at it.
It's like the first thing you see on ESPN. Vanderbilt fans throw a 30,000-ton like
I
goalpost into
know.
a river. It's like
The
they
fact
walked.
that they
It's
Yeah,
like they
exactly.
walked 8 miles. Like what? It's like you do not
Hey,
have that much determination, and then they get fined like $150,000. I'm
they don't
like,
care at all.
took you 4 hours to do that, and you just lost all of like literally all the money you just spent on college is just in the drain.
Hey, but if you whenever you go on to play college football, wherever it may be, y'all might be a part of it. You might be causing the field storm.
Maybe.
Game-winning
Maybe.
touchdown. Stadium goes nuts.
Exactly, bro. I didn't mean it. I'm sorry.
Right.
Take it back.
I take it back. Everybody, come on.
And then kind of like a follow-up. What's the ultimate sporting event that you one day hope to attend?
I mean, truthfully, like the UFC cage side was kind of like my main bucket list, but I do have, like, again, I feel like I keep giving you two answers when you ask for one, but I would love to be. I don't even care what game it is, but I think sitting courtside at an NBA game would be so sick. And then I got to go to Wimbledon. I got to go to the Wimbledon final. And I think once I do that, there's no other sporting event. I'm not super into the Super Bowl because it doesn't seem like it's not like fan driven, which I want to be a part of, like, fans.
Exactly. And it's like $10K a ticket plus flights.
Right. It's just all rich people.
Exactly. It's like,
so yeah, those are my. What would yours be?
Oh geez. Let's think. I don't know. I mean, I'd love to go to the Super Bowl where the Bengals are in it.
For sure.
Another one, probably the game, Ohio State, Michigan.
Yeah, we got to get you to the game.
Dude, yes. I mean,
but a year
I'll
when
take
Ohio
any
State
game.
wins.
Exactly, bro. Like
this year, I don't know what happened, right? Hey, but now if they go on a run and win the national championship.
Yeah. Or like another good one would be Bengals Green Bay at Lambeau.
Yeah.
Because the last time
Lambeau.
Bengals Packers should play next year because they played 22 in Cincinnati. So it should be in Green Bay, but
yeah,
they always have those. The NFL always just rigs some games where it's just like from now on it's only here, like nowhere else. It's like Bengals Chiefs. It's like the past like 4 matchups besides the playoffs have been in KC. I'm like, what is this? Like,
bro, don't get us started on the Chiefs.
Home field advantage times 20. I'm like, what?
And they're just the luckiest team of all time.
Exactly. It's like pisses me off. Like watching
they piss me off every week. I bet against them, and then somehow they have some bullcrap field goal that they make and some bullcrap calls by the refs. I'm like,
it's like,
what are we doing?
Invading Patrick Mahomes' personal bubble, 15-yard penalty.
Right.
It's like,
yeah, this past week they had a crazy one for him. Like,
I forget what it was. It was like the
he like fumbled it or something, but ultimately it ended up being like a 15-yard gain for the Chiefs in like first down. You're like,
it's like, what?
Wait, what?
How did this happen?
How did this happen? We need somebody to take them down this year.
I saw a funny thing. I think it actually was by Barstool. I think they have I think they do like the little like animation, like the comic things.
Yeah.
Like the players and everything. It's like I see them all on my like For You page, but it's like the Chiefs using like dark magic.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really funny. I was like, oh my God. Like, and the refs were like, do you not love me anymore?
Right. Those videos crack me up.
Oh my God.
And
it's
all
so
the memes.
Then I saw a sequel. It was like the dark magic is running out. He was like, Travis, what are we going to do?
I have not seen that one. They're going to call Taylor.
Exactly, bro. It's like, we need you. Come help us.
Who do you think's going to take them down this year?
Either Buffalo or Detroit in the Super Bowl. Or Philly, possibly. People are sleeping on Philly.
I know, because they just got that weird kind of energy, like, where people don't know if their team is like clicking. They're obviously really good, but it seems like there's always something going on.
And then next question. I know the college football playoffs are in full swing. Every first round game was just garbage, by the way.
Garbage.
trying to get my dad to take me to the Rose Bowl actually that we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
Ohio State, Oregon. But are you gonna go on to any other games? Because I know you were at the Indiana Notre Dame one, and I think another one.
Yeah. I don't so as of right now, I don't think we are, but kind of in our world, like we didn't really know we were going to Indiana Notre Dame until like the Tuesday before.
Oh, okay.
So it could be like a last minute thing because Will and Taylor are both really close with Dan Lanning. So say if Oregon does beat Ohio State and they go to the national championship, it could very much be a thing of like Dan Lanning could hook it up for Will and Taylor, be like, hey, y'all come out to the game. Like, because if we win, it's going up.
Yeah.
So we might be there. Hopefully, I would love to. Going to a college football national championship would be incredible. That'd be awesome. Like another bucket list thing.
Exactly. I have some NFL questions as well. Who do you got winning the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think, if the Lions didn't get so banged up on defense, I would have rode with the Lions.
I feel like everybody had them until like week 11.
I know. I mean, and they still keep finding ways to win, which is what you have to do. But it's hard not to think that it won't catch up with them. And, of course, I'm not going to say the Chiefs because I cannot stand to see them win again. So I think I'm kind of rocking with one of the teams you were just saying. I'm going to rock with the Bills.
Yeah.
I think it's finally the year for them. The team seems like they gel at all times. The only thing a little bit iffy kind of is the defense. Like, they got to figure out a few things because they've been letting up a good amount of points recently. But Josh Allen is playing at a different level right now. So I hope the Bills get it done. Who you got?
Oh, as of right now, I'm gonna say Bills Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the Lions, like, I think, they're like, I saw Dan Campbell was talking about in his interview after the loss to the Bills. He was like talking about like, like sometimes like, when you're like, I don't know, he's talking about like moldy bread or something. He was yapping.
The bread.
Yeah. He was like sometimes like, we get cocky and then we get punched in the mouth, but it was like, I feel like it was a wake up call, and I was like, what are you saying, bro? Like, I get what you're trying to say, but you're just like, you're spitting too many words, bro. Like,
right. He's just trying to.
Exactly, bro. Just put it in ChatGPT.
Yeah, exactly.
Just condense it into a sentence.
He's doing anything he can to get the team fired up and just like to believe in themselves.
Typing in, just summarize this in one sentence, please.
Give me a high pregame speech in 2 sentences.
And then also, I know all the Bengals stuff back there, but what do you think about the Bengals? I know some stuff needs to happen, but do you think they end up making a playoff push?
I hope they do. I love watching the Bengals.
Don't we all?
Yeah, man, we do. They're like, I feel like they're kind of becoming a little bit, and unfortunately, this is what happens with some losses, but like America's sort of like favorite team to watch because every week Joe Burrow is going to do some insane plays.
Did you see what he did against Cleveland?
That touchdown?
The dude, what?
I'm like, how do you even think
Superman, bro?
Superman that throw, and like, yeah, I mean, it wouldn't even come across my mind when he's in midair like that. In my head, I'm probably like, all right, I'm going down with it. This man tosses a touchdown.
Did you see there's a viral Tony Romo clip? It's just like, that looked a little Mahomey. It was I think it was Josh Allen. He was doing something, and Tony Romo on live broadcast, he was like, that looks a little Mahomey.
Dude, I enjoy Tony Romo on the live broadcast.
I mean, every day, or not every day, but whenever I watch the Bengals, I'm just like, can we get Tony Romo, please?
Right.
Please? And then it's like, we're on Fox, and I'm like, why do we gotta be on Fox, bro? Their announcers suck.
They do. They're boring.
I don't want to listen to these guys, bro. It's like a 3-yard gain. Like have some energy, bro. Like,
let me get some juice. Like we're all fired up watching the game. I need you to be fired up watching the game.
Jeez.
So I hope they make it. I don't have the greatest feeling that they will because so much has to happen, but I hope they do.
Kind of like we've turned things around. If I want them to make the playoffs, then it's like all the stress, and it's just like we get destroyed in the first round, and then we're like, they never deserved to be in. Denver should have been in. It's like, and then we get flamed, and Zach Taylor gets fired, and then everything's in like the hole, and then we're cooked.
You got to defend your honor at the lunch table at school.
Oh my god, dude! I have my friend's at school. He's a Chiefs fan, dude.
Of course he is,
he
right?
gives me so much crap, bro.
But and he probably just became a Chiefs fan.
Dude, he did though. Like
Oh my
in he was like it sucks because he'll watch this. So
god.
I was actually texting him before. I was like, I'm about to be like on a podcast. Like,
Yeah.
it's gonna be so dope. Like, but anyway, he's
We're
like
gonna dog on the Chiefs. You can't do nothing
exactly. It's
about
like
it.
you guys suck.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my goodness. But he's gonna, yeah, he'll watch this. So, but anyway, yeah. I mean, he's a bandwagon. We ask him all the time. We're like, why'd you become a Chiefs fan? And he was like, he used to have some random excuses, but now he doesn't even care. He's just like,
That's
it is what
good.
it is, bro.
At least he's owning it now.
Yeah, sort of. It's weird. We have a weird relationship.
There's always that one friend.
We friends, but like it's sometimes there's tension. We'll say that. And then while we're on the topic of the NFL, who's your favorite NFL team? Now and growing up.
Yeah, I would say so. I'm like a way bigger college fan than I am NFL. But growing up, I was a huge Falcons fan because,
Oh wow,
like a lot of kids my age, and Atlanta's pretty close to Greenville. Really, like the Panthers are closer, but a lot
yeah.
of Clemson fans are Panthers fans, so I headed to the rival. But Michael Vick, he was coming up like
Oh
when
yeah.
I was probably like 8 or 9 years old. So
Mm,
when you're like first getting into sports as a young
yeah.
kid, it's like and you're consuming everything. It was like Michael Vick was the best thing to ever
Oh my
happen.
god,
I could not
yes.
get enough Michael Vick. So I would say like I'm still a Falcons fan, but I
Yeah.
would feel bad. Like say if the Falcons won the Super Bowl next year, I
Mm,
wouldn't feel good about like celebrating it because I wasn't sticking it out with them like through the dark days.
exactly. Yeah.
But I would say I'm a Falcons guy. Yeah.
And then who's your favorite NFL player growing up?
Favorite NFL player growing up? I'll say outside of Michael Vick because he was my guy.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to go with. Let's see. There was so many guys. I mean, I probably like Randy Moss.
Randy, wow.
I mean, the stat line from the one game it was like what
Oh
3
my
catches,
gosh.
147 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Wasn't that like his first game or something?
Yeah, something wild, and just his whole story, like coming from
Oh
where he came
yeah.
from,
Exactly.
his everything he's into off the field. He's just like a country boy, and I love me some Randy Moss.
Yeah. And then moving completely unrelated to sports, what's your favorite Christmas movie of all time? And also, do you think Die Hard is a Christmas movie?
I love this question. Favorite Christmas movie of all time? I'm gonna have to take the more nostalgic route. It's not the best one, but it's the one that as a kid I would grow up watching, and I could watch it to this day and still find joy in it. And that is
Yeah.
the OG Rudolph movie,
Wow.
claymation animation. I don't know if you've seen it or not.
I've seen that movie, yeah. My sister was actually watching it the other day.
Your sister has great taste. My guy,
I
Yukon Cornelius, one of my
Oh
favorite
my
characters of
gosh.
all time, absolute legend. So I'm gonna go with Rudolph, and then
Yeah.
yes, Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Okay. Okay, good to know. Because my dad says I've never seen it, but my dad says it is. So
Oh yeah, your
just
dad is
gonna
right. I
I'm
already
just gonna
know that
ride
I
with
would rock
whatever
with
he
your dad.
believes. So we're just yeah. And then what's number one on your Christmas list? So what are you asking Santa for?
Oh man, honestly, I have most of the things that I need as far as like I used to be asking for equipment set up, like a new
Mm,
lens or a laptop light.
yeah, I got
So
all my
now I
gear
don't know.
for my birthday.
That's what you're getting for your birthday,
I got all my all this stuff for my
right?
birthday. Yeah, this year.
So it's not so much like probably nothing somebody could give me, but I would love for Santa to come through with some help on my Make It to Midnight page. I would like to grow that
Yeah.
following. So maybe some gift that could help me do that. I'm not sure what it
Yeah.
is, but something along those lines.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just right now. I'm just trying to get just get views and just reach. reach an
Yeah.
audience. Yeah.
It's all about consistency, man.
Yeah, exactly.
The only way you lose is if you quit.
Exactly. Because
So
I do my recaps. I've been doing them for the entire season. So I've been doing I record on Tuesdays typically. So
right.
I'll have to do my notes and then I'll do it tomorrow, record tomorrow, probably get it up by Wednesday or Thursday. So
yeah, and just think about how much you've learned through the process of just doing it.
Yeah.
So it's like even if the views aren't coming, you've still won in some other spots. Like you've learned all these things that will make it even better for the next time.
Yeah, and then I guess that was the last question. But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping to one day come out to Nashville with you guys, get on that bus. I really want to get on that bus.
Come on, man. I believe in it. You keep training in football. You be a top recruit. Then we'll get you out here. And then anytime you guys do, if your family ever does visit Nashville, you'll definitely have to let me know. And we can give you guys a tour.
A lot of our family lives in Cincinnati, so that's like not a horrible
close.
drive. Yeah.
Yeah, I usually go to the tennis tournament up there.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's it's right by
that
Kings
amusement
Island.
park.
Yeah, Kings Island. Yeah, I know. I went to Kings Island this summer and saw that. I was like, "What is that place?" My dad was like, "Oh, that hosts like the annual like really popular tennis tournament." I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." But yeah, I mean, for now, I'm just gonna keep grinding, build up my audience like we were just talking about, and just hopefully be as one day good as you guys, because y'all are like top dogs right now. So
hey, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you having me on the show too. This was fun. I'm glad. I'm glad we finally got to meet too, instead of just messaging. So we'll have to keep making it happen. And the next guest you have on there, it's got to be those football guys in San Diego.
Yeah, we're gonna keep trying. But yeah, I mean, thanks for coming on, man. I'm really grateful. It's been an honor. I mean, I'm really just grateful that you were able to just take time out of your own schedule to come on to some random 12-year-old's podcast. But man, yeah, hey, I mean,
you crush it. So I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. I had a wonderful time, great time talking to you and, sharing our experiences and everything. But yeah.
All right, man.
Yeah. Thanks so much and keep in touch. I'll see you.
Yes, sir. Peace.
Peace.